On the road in Sacramento, California, this is Democracy Now!
Senator George McGovern, having received a majority vote of this convention's certified delegates, is hereby declared the 1972 Democratic nominee for President of the United States.
Today in a Democracy Now! Special, we look at the life and legacy of Senator George McGovern, best known for running on an anti-war platform against President Richard Nixon.
And as one whose heart has ached for the past 10 years over the agony of Vietnam, I will halt the senseless bombing of Indochina on inaugural day.
As a family spokesperson confirms Senator McGovern is in hospice care, unresponsive and nearing the end of his life. We'll play extended excerpts of the documentary One Bright Shining Moment, The Forgotten Summer of George McGovern, that traces his historic 1972 grassroots campaign for the presidency.
Well, that's the highlight of my life, I guess. Winning the Democratic nomination of the oldest political party in American history. I remember the hands reaching up, the eager, excited faces, people laughing and talking, some weeping. There was a lot of emotion and passion in that campaign, and I'll take those memories with me the rest of my life.
All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We're on the road in Sacramento, California. Dozens of people were killed Thursday when Syrian warplanes bombed the rebel-held town of Ma'arat al-Numan. Rescue workers interviewed at the scene reported a toll of at least 44 people, including 29 children, dead. The bombs apparently destroyed 2 residential buildings and a mosque where many of the victims had sought shelter. With Syria's violence continuing to flare, the UN's top human rights official, Navi Pillay, warned the current bloodshed could descend to the levels of Bosnia's sectarian war.
The memories of what happened in Bosnia and Herzegovina should be sufficiently fresh to warn us all of the danger of allowing Syria to descend into all-out sectarian conflict. Thousands and thousands of men, women and children have already been killed, injured, tortured, displaced. It should not take something as drastic as Srebrenica to shake the world into taking serious action to stop this kind of conflict. By remaining divided, the international community is enabling continuation of the suffering and helping create the circumstances for a wider regional conflict.
The CIA is reportedly urging the White House to back a major expansion of armed drones used for attacks overseas. The Washington Post reports the CIA has asked for permission to expand its fleet by as many as 10 drones on top of the roughly 35 in its possession. The move would continue the agency's shift from intelligence activities to operating as a full-on paramilitary wing of the U.S. government. If approved, the proposal would expand the CIA's capability to wage drone attacks in Pakistan and Yemen, while also allowing it to shift focus to North Africa and other areas. Despite concerns of the CIA's involvement in military operations, the Pentagon reportedly has yet to raise any formal objections. President Obama hit the campaign trail in the Northeast Thursday with a continued effort to drum up support among women voters. Speaking in New Hampshire, Obama touted his record on fair pay in the workplace and access to abortion services.
You know where I stand. Look, the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, this was the first bill I signed into law. And I know you want the same thing for your daughters or sisters or moms or grandmas as I do. And this is not, as I said in the debate, this is not just a women's issue. This is a family issue. This is an economic issue. I also believe women should make their own health care decisions.
President Obama and Romney were questioned about the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act in their debate Tuesday night. On Thursday, the Romney campaign attempted to walk back a statement from top Romney advisor Ed Gillespie that Romney had opposed the bill in 2009. Elsewhere on the campaign trail, former President Bill Clinton rallied Democrats in Ohio playing the role of warm-up act to the famed musician Bruce Springsteen.
I had, 20-something jobs before I got elected president. But this is the first time in my life I ever got to be the warm-up act for Bruce Springsteen.
And I believe we are in the midst of those long days right now. And I'm here because I believe President Obama feels those days in his bones for all 100% of us.
A New York federal appeals court has become the sixth nationwide to strike down the 1996 Defense of Marriage Act, which bars federal recognition of same-sex couples. On Thursday, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals said DOMA, as it's known, violates the Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. The case was brought by prominent lesbian activist Edith Windsor of New York, who was forced to pay more than $350,000 in estate taxes because her marriage wasn't recognized under federal law. 5 other federal appeals courts have previously deemed the law unconstitutional. Despite also opposing the law, the Obama administration's continued enforcing it pending a final ruling that it's requested from the Supreme Court. Texas is threatening to shut down a state health program for low-income women if the group Planned Parenthood continues to be involved. The Texas program offers cancer and health screenings as well as birth control services to some 130,000 low-income women, about 40% of whom are served through Planned Parenthood. But Texas has sought to ban Planned Parenthood from participating because they also provide abortions. A federal appeals court is currently reviewing Planned Parenthood's challenge to the ban. On Thursday, Texas Health and Human Services Executive Commissioner Dr. Kyle Janik said, quote, "If they prevail in that case and the courts say you have to include Planned Parenthood, then yes, the program goes away," unquote. A recent George Washington University study has warned Texas will be unlikely to adequately provide care to the patients currently served by Planned Parenthood should the ban be upheld. New Jersey's become the latest state to call for a constitutional amendment that would overturn Citizens United, the landmark U.S. Supreme Court decision that paved the way for massive corporate spending to influence elections. The state assembly approved the resolution Thursday following a campaign by several activist groups, part of a wave of local efforts that's seen similar measures pass in 8 other states. The oil giant TransCanada has temporarily shut down its Keystone pipeline due to apparent safety issues. TransCanada told federal officials Thursday it had halted the massive pipeline, which carries crude oil from the Alberta tar sands to Illinois and Oklahoma. The shutdown will last at least 3 days. The news comes as activists in Texas are nearly a month into a blockade against the construction of Keystone's southern leg. Both President Obama and Mitt Romney appeared together in New York Thursday night for the annual Al Smith Memorial Charity Dinner. Outside the event, a group of protesters, including physicians and medical students, rallied to call for a single-payer health insurance program.
We are here because both President Obama and Governor Romney are what they want to do is a threat to Medicare. Now, with Romney, it's much more of a threat because he wants to do a voucher program, which will really destroy Medicare as we know it. But President Obama also wants to raise the age of eligibility for Medicare, and we think that's not right.
As a medical student, I'm afraid of practicing in the current system. It's going to prevent me from practicing care in the way I want to, which is to help people with their needs and not be concerned about the endless paperwork of a multi-payer system.
Boston police are being accused of routinely spying on local peace groups at their meetings and protests. The American Civil Liberties Union says police have filed regular reports to Boston's Regional Intelligence Center detailing the activities of groups including Veterans for Peace, United for Justice with Peace, and Code Pink. One event at a church featuring the late historian Howard Zinn was filed under the category of criminal act, groups, extremist. Officers also monitored protesters' out-of-state plans, including including attendance at a rally in Washington, D.C. The police have also held on to the surveillance files for several years, despite federal rules that call for them to be expunged if no criminal or terrorist activity is involved. In a statement, the ACLU of Massachusetts said, quote, spying on church groups and peaceful, nonviolent political gatherings violates civil liberties, wastes scarce police resources, and doesn't keep us safe. The U.S. military has imposed a curfew on all U.S. forces in Japan following the arrest of 2 American troops for allegedly raping a Japanese woman on the island of Okinawa. The top U.S. commander in Japan, Lieutenant General Sam Angelela, announced the curfew earlier today.
I want to personally apologize for the grief and trauma the victim has endured and the anger it has caused among the people in Okinawa. I am immediately issuing a curfew to all military personnel in Japan, both temporary and assigned. In addition, core value training, retraining for military and SOFA civilians will be conducted by subordinate commanders, and a review of the USFJ Liberty Policy will be executed over the coming days and weeks.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. We're on the road in Sacramento, California, as we continue our 100-city silence majority election 2012.